I'd just moved into my first house when this happened. It was one of those older-style homes built back in the 60s. Nothing fancy, but it had character. Hardwood floors, old baseboard heating, even a dumbwaiter that didn't work anymore. I was 28 at the time and single. I'd been renting my whole life, so finally owning a place felt like freedom. No roommates, no landlords, just me and my own space. The first couple of weeks were uneventful. I spent most of my time getting settled, buying furniture off Craigslist, figuring out which windows stuck, that sort of thing. But there was one thing I noticed early on that didn't sit right with me. The attic door. It was in the hallway ceiling just outside the bedroom. You know the kind. Wooden square with a pull-down string and fold-out stairs. The thing is, I'd tried opening it during my first walkthrough and couldn't get it to budge. It felt jammed or locked, so I left it alone. There were no attic photos in the house listing, and the home inspection said it was inaccessible, so I didn't think much of it. That is, until the noise started. It was soft at first. Faint bumps and thuds coming from above my bedroom ceiling. I figured it was squirrels or raccoons. The house backed up to a patch of woods, and I'd already seen a few critters outside. But it wasn't just at night. Sometimes it was in the middle of the day, like around lunch or early evening. And it wasn't random either. There was a rhythm to it, almost like pacing. Back and forth. Back and forth. I told myself it was just my imagination. Maybe the wood was expanding or shifting. Old houses make weird sounds all the time. Then one night, I woke up to a loud crash. It sounded like something heavy had dropped onto the floor above me, directly above my bed. I shot up, heart racing, and stared at the ceiling. And that's when I saw it. The attic string was swinging, not a little. Violently. Like someone had just come down and went back up. I sat frozen in bed for what felt like forever, just watching it sway. Eventually, it slowed to a stop, but I didn't move. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. The next day, I bought a ladder. I wanted to know what the hell was up there. I climbed up with a flashlight in one hand and a hammer in the other. When I pushed the attic door open, a wave of musty air hit me. Dust everywhere. Cobwebs. The whole space was unfinished, just wooden beams and insulation. At first, I didn't see anything unusual, but then I noticed a dark shape in the corner. It was a pile of blankets. Next to it, some empty water bottles, snack wrappers, and a small stack of old books. Someone had been living up there. That's when I saw something else. An old disposable camera lying near the edge of the blanket pile. I picked it up with 2 fingers like it might bite me. It was covered in grime, but it hadn't been there long. The expiration date on the film was from 2 years ago. I climbed back down, locked every door in the house, and called the police. They came out and did a full sweep, checked the attic, the basement, every closet. Nothing. No sign of forced entry. No fingerprints. No evidence of a break-in. They told me maybe it had been a squatter before I moved in, and I just didn't notice until now. That they probably left when they heard me moving in. But that didn't explain the sound I heard the night before, or the swinging attic string. The cops left, and I was on edge for weeks after that. I barely slept, kept the hallway light on at night, installed a camera in the attic hatch, motion detectors, the works. For a while, everything seemed calm again, until a few nights later. It was around 2 a.m. when my phone buzzed. Motion detected. Attic hatch. I opened the app. The screen was black for a second, and then I saw it. The attic door was open, and someone's hand, just a hand, was reaching down, fingers stretched like they were searching for the floor. I froze. The screen went black again as the hand pulled back. I called the cops immediately. They came out fast this time, with 2 patrol units. But again, nothing. No one in the attic. No fingerprints. No sign of forced entry. That's when the officer told me something that chilled me to the core. He said, "You know, attic access doors don't lock from the inside. I sold the house 2 months later. Took a financial hit, but I didn't care. There are some things in life you just don't stick around to figure out. This happened about 6 months ago, and even now I still check over my shoulder when I walk through my own house. I haven't told many people this, mostly because it sounds insane. But I swear everything I'm about to say actually happened. My girlfriend and I bought our first house in the spring. It was an old cottage-style home just outside Portland. Quiet street, big trees, older neighbors. We weren't looking for anything fancy, just a place we could grow into. The house had its charm. Slanted ceilings upstairs, a brick fireplace in the living room, even one of those tiny reading nooks under the stairs. But the real selling point was the price. It was way cheaper than anything else in the area. I remember joking with my girlfriend, Claire, that maybe it was haunted. Turns out I should have taken that joke a little more seriously. The first few weeks were normal. You know, painting, unpacking, figuring out which light switches did what. But then one afternoon, I was sweeping in the living room when my broom handle knocked into something hollow sounding on the floor. At first I thought I'd hit a loose board, but when I looked closer, I realized it was actually a trap door, a square outline, flush with the hardwood, maybe 3 feet wide. There was no handle or latch, just a faint gap where the boards didn't quite line up. Now here's the weird part. This thing wasn't in the inspection report. Our realtor never mentioned a crawl space. I even pulled up the original floor plans from the city records. Nothing. According to those, there shouldn't have been anything underneath the living room at all. Naturally, I was curious. I told Claire about it that night, and she looked at me like I was overreacting. She's the rational one. Said it was probably just an old access point for wiring or plumbing. Still, she agreed we should open it up and take a look. It took me a couple days to pry it open. The boards were sealed tight, like someone didn't want them being moved. Eventually, I wedged a crowbar in deep enough to lift the panel. Underneath was a ladder, metal rungs leading down into what looked like a dirt room, like a root cellar. But here's the thing. There was no smell. No musty air. It was just silent. I shined my flashlight down there and saw something that gave me chills. There was a chair sitting in the middle of the room, wooden, facing the far wall. Just a single chair in an otherwise empty dirt room. Claire told me to leave it alone, but something about it bothered me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. So the next day, I climbed down. The space was small, maybe 6 by 6 feet. Dirt floor, dirt walls, and that one chair. No signs of wiring or storage, no tools, no pipes. But the worst part, the back wall had scratches on it. Faint but noticeable, like someone had dragged their fingers down the dirt repeatedly. I got out of there fast and sealed the trapdoor shut again. That night, Claire and I fought. She said I was letting the house get in my head, that I was obsessing over something meaningless. I didn't sleep well. A few days later, I came home from work and found the trapdoor open again. I was sure I'd nailed it shut, but there it was, wide open, with the ladder exposed. Claire swore she hadn't touched it. I didn't go down there again. I just closed it, hammered it shut, and moved a heavy dresser over it. Out of sight, out of mind. That lasted about a week. We started hearing noises at night. Not the usual house-settling sounds, but something more deliberate, like dragging or tapping, always coming from the living room floor. One night, Claire shook me awake around 3 a.m. She was pale, shaking. Said she'd heard a voice. A man's voice, she whispered, from under the floor. We packed a bag that night and stayed at a hotel. The next morning, we called a contractor to seal the space professionally. When they opened the trapdoor again, the chair was gone. I swear to you, gone. They filled the entire pit with concrete. Didn't even bother asking questions. Charged me extra to get it done that day. I don't know what that room was, or why it was hidden. But I'm telling you right now, Some houses should stay buried. We still live there. But neither of us walk barefoot in the living room anymore. I didn't expect to end up here, not in a place like this. I'd just gotten out of a rough breakup and was looking for a fresh start. So when I found a 2-bedroom fixer-upper at a killer price, I jumped on it. It wasn't in the best part of town, but I wasn't exactly in the position to be picky. The house itself was old, like creaky floors, weird angles, painted shut windows kind of old. But it was mine, and I was proud of that. The first couple weeks were mostly cleaning, patching holes, and trying to get the plumbing to stop screaming every time I turned on the sink. It was during one of those repairs that I found something weird. I was replacing some drywall in the hallway when I noticed a cold draft. It didn't make sense. The wall wasn't near a window or door. I took a closer look and realized that part of the wall was hollow. Not like standard hollow. You could knock on it and feel air. Curiosity got the better of me, so I cut a larger piece out. Behind the drywall was another wall, like someone had built a false layer over it. And in between the two walls was something else. Something wrapped in plastic. I pulled it out slowly. It was a photograph, a black and white picture of a family. Mother, father, 2 kids, all standing in front of the same house I was now living in. They looked off. Not in any obvious way, just the expressions. Their smiles were too wide. Their eyes didn't match. It was like they were posing for something they didn't want to be part of. Taped to the back of the photo was a note. Don't dig. Leave it alone. I remember standing there holding that photo for what felt like forever. The air around me felt colder, heavier. I should have stopped there. I didn't. I spent the next few nights checking other parts of the house, knocking on walls, measuring weird corners. Eventually, in the back bedroom closet, I found another false panel. Behind it was a crawl space that had clearly been sealed for decades. I crawled in with a flashlight and immediately regretted it. The walls inside were covered in drawings, charcoal sketches of people, dozens of them. Men, women, children, all expressionless, all staring forward. And carved into the wall above them was one word: listen. I backed out slowly, trying not to freak myself out. That night, I started hearing things. It was faint at first, murmurs, like someone whispering on the other side of a wall. I couldn't make out words, just soft voices. The worst part? They moved. One night, it would be near the living room, the next, the hallway. Then, just outside my bedroom door, I'd lie awake with the lights on, staring at the walls, waiting to hear the whispers again. I even recorded them once, played it back over and over, but it was always the same, low murmuring, impossible to make out. Then things got physical. One morning, I woke up to find all the photos in my hallway turned around, every single one, faces against the wall. Another time, I came home to find dirt. Just dirt. All over my kitchen floor. No signs of forced entry. No broken windows. Just soil, like someone had walked in from a graveyard. I called a priest. Not something I ever thought I'd do, but I was desperate. He came in, walked the place, and within 10 minutes said something that made my blood run cold. This house wasn't just lived in, it was used. I asked what he meant, but he wouldn't elaborate. Just told me to cleanse the space and pray. A lot. I did everything he said. Sage, candles, salt at the windows. The whispers stopped for a while, but I still don't sleep right. The other day, I noticed a small hole forming in the drywall again, like something pushing out from the inside. I haven't opened it yet. Part of me wants to move. Part of me wants to know what's inside. But mostly, I'm just tired of listening. If you enjoyed these stories, please take a moment to subscribe the channel. Your support matters a lot.